week 2 of this 5k training program. I'm on earlys all week. It's 5:10 in the morning. I was toying with the idea of doing a session early in the morning like I did the other week, but because the schools are all off this week, when I get back at 2 PM to do my session, it isn't going to be that bad. Pavement wise with people, I'm just going to leave it till 2 o'clock. I've got a fartlek session today, similar to last Tuesday, except it's going to be 4 minutes on 90 seconds recovery times 4, and then 4 times 60 seconds at the end of that. I'm going to finish this coffee and then go and find my bus. Here's mine, 19467 Bay 7. Today I'm working off the same running board all day. Usually you work off 2 running boards. Once on your first bit of your shift, and then the second running board off the second bit of your shift, where you get another bus. So you can be driving 2 buses. Sometimes 3, not always, very rare for me. But on this day, this is going to be the bus I'm using all day, and the board I'm using all day. People have often asked me, what's it like, what's it been like doing this job as opposed to doing the building work what I was doing for 20 years. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been easy. Easy is a wrong word, I think, because your life can change in this job on the flip of a coin in a day. You know, something bad could happen, you know, like knock on wood. But the amount of work I used to have to do in the other job, lifting, working in the rain. This is bad today. My God. I used to go to work thinking I need 3 pairs of clothes, 3 changes of clothes some days, because it would just piss down all day. Wet gear doesn't work. Wet gear, when you're working hard, just makes you sweat. So even though the rain ain't getting through, you take it off, your pants are soaked underneath. So I was always wearing shorts. Funnily enough, I'm wearing shorts now. A lot of people, when I first started this job, said about the position I'm sat in, because I'm driving for 8 hours a day on an average day. But I used to get up in the morning. We used to leave at 4:30. We used to drive to Newcastle on a bad week all week, and we worked in Newcastle a lot. Get there for 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, then throw a floor in all day, precast concrete, no matter the weather, and then leave at 3:30, 4 o'clock at night and do a 3-hour drive home. So I'm used to doing 6 hours sat in that position a day anyway, and on top of that, laying a floor. Anyway. Well, there's a nice part of the shift done. The sun's been in my eyes for the past half an hour. Going into town's not that bad, but coming out of town it's been horrible. Now it's time to go and have a bit of breakfast, which for me today is... I was going to do some filming. I was going to talk about dinner. When I got in the canteen, there was about 6 people there. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit uncomfortable filming, so I never did. I had a tub of tuna mayo though, tuna pasta. I was trying to think, what can I have that's light, that isn't going to really sit heavy on my stomach, that's going to affect me run later, because I've got that fartlek session after work. Usually what I do is have chicken and ham sandwiches with mayo, and I'll throw some Snacker Jacks in and some Go Ahead bars or whatever it is, Alpenlights, to round it up to about 1,000 or 1,100 calories. That definitely wasn't that today. It was light, so hopefully I won't feel like a slug when I'm running later. I've got half a trip left to do on this bus. The time now is 1 o'clock, so I should be heading back to the depot about 1:45 and get there and finish and be out of that depot for 2 o'clock and then home for the session. So I'll just go straight to the session now. Just finishing 2-kilometer warm-up, a fartlek workout like last week's and this week's. Once you start them, it's like a roller coaster, you just cannot get off, and it becomes increasingly more challenging to talk, so I doubt there'll be any talking during this workout. 2-kilometer warm-up done. Now the session today, I've got 4 times 4 minutes, 4 times 60 seconds, 90 seconds recovery in between each 4-minute rep. 4-minute reps I would like to keep at anywhere between 3:47 and 3:50. I mean, quicker is better, slower, okay. In the 60-second reps, just as fast as I can.
manage the recoveries and keep going. That didn't go how I wanted it to go. It really didn't. I'm glad to get it done, but I was disappointed in myself with that. I just couldn't find any speed in the 4-minute reps, even from the first 4-minute rep. I don't know what was up with me. Float recoveries was alright until he started to really get me, and it just was what it was. Obviously the recovery started to fade. I'll put the splits up for the 4-minute reps, and I'll put the splits up for the minute ones. Then you'll see the total pace run time, sort of without the recoveries. Then you'll see the recovery, float recovery time. But that was a crap one, that one. Some days you're a hammer, some days you're a nail. And today I was the fucking nail. I am currently in work waiting for the bus to come that I'm about to pick up and do the 50 route to Salford Quays. I got up this morning at 3 AM. I got my run done around about just gone 3:30. Finished about 4:20, did 8 kilometres, 5 miles. Find it so refreshing now getting up and running early in the morning. I finished work today at 1:30 in the afternoon. I've got all the day to get me running, but I prefer to get up early now if I can get enough sleep the night before and get it done in the morning. It's mad how I've changed my mindset like that, because I just think it's just top being able to get up and run when everyone else is asleep. The roads are empty. It's like you've got a race. It's like it's closed roads. There's no cars about, the odd taxi zipping by, but that's it. Before you ever took up running and you knew what pace was or anything like that, if you've shown someone an equation like this who doesn't run, they wouldn't get it. They just go, okay. You go and show that same equation to someone who does a lot of running and they'll give you a well done. They'll probably show you their equation. Running's like learning a different form of mathematics, algebra. And the good thing is you develop your body at getting better at that equation. That's the goal anyway. I was a little bit down on myself about the session yesterday at the end of it, but looking back on the splits, the paces, the whole run time averaged at 3:50 per kilometre, and the float recoveries was round about just over 5-minute pace. So all in all, it wasn't a bad run. I averaged 4:10 for the whole run. So I'm just expecting a little bit too much of myself at the minute, and I've got to just wind it in a little bit. I'll get there. I'm going to get some good ones, I'm going to get some bad ones. And I remember I said to myself, I'm not going to beat myself up over 5-6 seconds per kilometre. Like, in the grand scheme of things, the amount of people that move in this country, the amount of people that run, the amount of people that exercise is very slim. I'm finished now, just need to go back. One more run back to Parswood and I'm done. That's the 6 kilometre, 3 more to go. Do 9k today. That feels good getting that done. I did question myself and think, roll over, do it after work. I actually finished earlier today, finished at 10 to 1, so I had plenty of excuses to do this later. But going into work and having this done, like I said, is a winner. 9 kilometres, average pace 5:32 today. The average heart rate was the same as yesterday. It was more or less the same as yesterday the whole way around, because I have some ups and downs on this loop where my heart rate will spike and it will also lower when you're going back downhill, and everything was more or less a mirror image of yesterday, except today was just a little bit quicker. Here I am now at Salford Quays. This is probably one of the most scenic, nicest places we've got in the depot. They usually do a big open water swim here. I've seen it now and again. People must be training for Ironmans or something when they come here, or triathlons. I've been toying with the idea where to do me 5k time trial when I do it in 2 weeks time, and I'm thinking of a park run, if this type of park run exists, what I'm going to describe to you. About a lake, about a mile and a half loop round a lake, flat tarmac. You can just leg it round and get a nice decent time, but I don't think one of them exists. So I'm toying with the idea of Stretford Park Run or Alexandra Park Run. Alexandra is the flattest, but the problem with it, it's like a dead sharp turn on it that you have to, it's a stop-start turn that you go through about 2 or 3 times. I'm not keen on it, although I have actually got my PB there. So I'm thinking about that anyway. I've got about 6 or 7 minutes before I need to set back off, pick a load more people up, and then I should be done before 1 o'clock, which is good. I picked up 145 people coming up to here. What I've noticed with this job is, I'm not complaining about it, I love it, it's easy, but the more people you encounter, the more people you are around, the more you realise common sense is not common. That's a myth. Should be called rare sense. The amount of students, kids, people, grown people actually, not even students, anyone, they walk in front of the bus with their headphones on, phone in their hand, and it's like, you can't miss a 40-foot bus, 13-foot high, 12 ton. It's scary, it's scary. But nearly finished for the day, so we'll just leave it there. I'm feeling it today. I feel like all the early mornings this week has just caught up with me in one morning. I've got a session to do today, and I planned last night to get up and do it. I had my alarm set for 3 in the morning, and I just didn't have it in me to do it. And I didn't want to get up and do it half-hearted and ruin the session and then feel like shit all day because I'd had a bad session. So I just thought, I got an early night last night, so I've had plenty of sleep. I'll recharge and I'll have me breakfast in work, and then I'll do my session when I get home. I don't know, it just caught up with me all in one morning. I was just so tired. I've got some chicken mayo sandwiches for dinner. I'll have that about 10 o'clock, and then when I get back at 2, I'll get my session done between 2 and 3. Today I'm doing the 86 route. I've had quite a cushy morning, you know, if I'm being honest. I started at 5:30 this morning. I had to do my first user checks on the bus, and then I've essentially had more or less 45 minutes to drive to Piccadilly out of service. Then I start from Piccadilly doing the 86 route from Piccadilly to Chorlton bus station, and then back to Piccadilly, then back to Chorlton bus station, then back to Piccadilly, then back to Chorlton bus station, and then I'm finished the service. So it's 5 half trips, and then I'm going to have my break. My break will be at around 10:20. So that'll be my breakfast / dinner, to call it, fucking brunch, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I won't bore you with the ins and outs of bus driving today. I'm just going to take you straight to the session now. Two-kilometre warm-up. Now, speed session. I'm actually looking forward to this session a little bit. Maybe not, but what's bad about this, right? It's been in the back of my mind all day. In work, I've been thinking, you know, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm going to do when I get home, and then every other thought, session. I've got to do this session. When I was doing these in the morning the other week, it was just done. It was clear. It was out of my mind all day. Anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? It's only a flipping bit of run. So it is what it is, isn't it? It's only a run. Well, that tempo was quicker than I should have gone, but fuck it, I've done it now. Some sprints, if I've got anything left. My heart beating out of its chest. What a workout though. I know I should have gone slower in the 3 mile tempo, but I think me giving the pace range before this workout, it's kind of like an excuse to not blast it, if I'm being totally honest. So if I didn't have it, the excuse was already covered. I wasn't planning to run that fast anyway. I always wanted to try and do it in under sub 25k pace, which I did I wouldn't say very comfortably, but like, I wasn't aiming to go quicker. I was sort of just hoping to click the kilometres off just under 4 minutes. So it was averaging 3:58 for a lot of the first, and then it clicked off quicker, and like it always does. And the second was the same. So it's hard to gauge, but you know, 3 mile tempo in 18:57, that's 4.83 kilometers. And then a 3-minute slow jog, and then 5:60 seconds. I am really pleased with that. I was like 3:30 kilometre pace, and it's not like I was running on flat surfaces. I was bombing it uphill. Downhill I was getting like, you know, I was in the 3:20s for a lot. The uphills was like 3:30s. I'm so happy with that. You know what, Tuesday's workout I didn't like at all. I hated it, mainly because after the 4-minute reps I was knackered, and I thought I'll push these 4 minutes and I'll really get a good time on them, because I've got a recovery after the 4 minutes. Couldn't do it. I've just clicked off 5 kilometers basically with an average of 3:56, 3:55, and with no breaks. And then I did some hard 60-second sprints afterwards. I'm happy. I'm just finishing the Sunday long run to top off a pretty good week. This would have been my longest run nearly a year. 16 kilometers. Oh, hang on. Stopped it at 16k, but if I want to do 10 miles, I've got to do 16.1. And I know that might sound daft, but I did say 10 miles today to myself. There's the extra 100 meters to round that bad boy off. Good run. You know what? I never ran that run to heart rate. Didn't even try and keep it at any heart rate. I just thought, if I keep my pace between 5-minute pace and 5-minute 20, then it'll be okay, and I'll just see what the heart rate is at the end of it, because I know that's not super easy for me, but it would probably take my heart rate to the 130s, which is around about zone 2, zone 3, at a push, so zone 3. So anyway, let me have a look at it. It averaged at 132 beats per minute, 5-minute 15 kilometre pace, and I was standing around for about 16-17 seconds, just took a little video. That was it really. Good week's training. That takes my week to 68.67 kilometres, which is the highest week I've done in a long time. Consistency wins the day, every day. It wins the week, it wins the month, it wins your race at the end of the day. I'm still undecided on where I'm going to do this 5k time trial, but I've got 2 weeks to ponder that, so I will do. And I'll be off work when I do it, so I can literally pick and choose. I could go and do it on a Friday and run it on a track if I wanted to, and do 12.5 laps of the track, but I want to do it a little bit more honest than that, and I do want to run it on the road, or at the very least a park run, as long as that park run chimes me off at 5k and not 4.93 or something like that. That will just leave me unfulfilled. You know, imagine running 18 minutes 58 seconds for the 5k and you broke 19 minutes and your watch says 4.93. To me, I've not run it, I've not done it. I don't care if it's measured. If I would have been doing that on the road, I wouldn't have done it. So it has to ring off 5 kilometers, and that's just my OCD. I've already started the day on a win, ended the week on a win with a good run, and that's it for another week's training. So if you've watched, thanks, and appreciate it. More of the same next week. That's all I can really say.